Hi, I'm Paula from Happy Yoga Wales, and this is a slow flow for the heart chakra. So physically, we're going to be opening up the chest, the shoulders, the upper back, and we're going to be working towards dancer pose. And on an energetic level, really thinking about the heart center and developing this sense of love and self-compassion. So working with that theme, our intention today is I am loved and I am loving. And we're going to begin today in a comfortable seat. So find your sits bones rooted into the ground, stacking the shoulders directly above them, roll the shoulders back and reach tall through the crown of the head. Just let the hands rest wherever is comfortable. And take a big breath in here. And then exhale, just gently sigh that out with the lips. And feel free to close the eyes if that feels good. And just tuning in to the natural breath. Taking a little scan of the body, noticing any areas of tension. And just seeing if you can release whatever's there. Just accepting whatever we find. So the heart chakra is all about love and acceptance, gratitude, and just being okay with whatever is going on today, both on and off the mat. And just taking a few more breaths here, feel the shoulders relax. And then when you're ready, just slowly blinking the eyes open. And we're going to start with a pranayama, a breathing exercise called Robin's breath. And this really works to open up the chest area. So we're going to bring the hands to prayer and take a breath in here. And as we exhale, turn the fingers away from you so they're facing forwards, and then send the hands away. And on your inhale, lift the hands up, take the elbows out wide. We're going to cactus the arms, let the chest expand and lift. And then exhale, bring the hands around to meet each other one more time. Dipping the chin here, rounding the upper back. And then inhale the hands back to heart center. And moving through those, I'll talk you through it. So exhale, push the hands away, spine stays tall and strong. Inhale, reaching the arms up, take them round and cactus. Exhale, bring the hands together in front of you, reach through the fingertips, pressing the upper back back. And inhale, palms to heart center. Exhale, point the fingers away, reach the arms forwards. Inhale, cactus or blossom the arms, reach the chest, maybe lift the chin. Exhale, bring the palms together, dip in the chin, push the back away. And inhale, hands to heart center. Let's take one more round. If you're moving at a different pace, that's absolutely fine. So exhale, push the hands forwards. Inhale, blossom. Really fill the chest. Exhale, bringing the hands together, rounding through the spine. And inhale, bringing the hands back to heart center. And just pause here. Just notice how you feel, noticing any shifts in energy, or anything in the body that might have started to loosen up already, just with those few simple movements. And then blinking the eyes open if they were closed, and making your way onto all fours. So, I've got some blocks here. You don't need any props for this practice, but if you do have some blocks, then I always like to have them handy when I'm practicing, and I keep them at the top of my mat. Okay, so from your tabletop position, bring the index fingers facing straight ahead, spread the fingers nice and wide, and just take a few rounds of cat-cow here. So as we inhale, let the belly come down, chest comes forwards, and really focusing on the chest and the upper back in this cat-cow today. And then exhale, draw the belly button in, press the ground away, and see if we can separate those shoulder blades. So again, focusing on the upper back. Inhale, belly down, chest forwards. Exhale, draw the belly button in, press the ground away, looking back. The neck is just nice and relaxed here. And take 1 or 2 more of these, moving with your own breath, nice and steady. And then next time you come to centre, just pause in here. And we're going to come into a thread the needle pose. So starting with the left arm, sweeping it up so the chest turns to the left. And then take that left hand and slide it behind the right wrist. And reach it all the way through as far as is comfortable, so the palm faces the ceiling. Bringing the head down either to the floor, or you can pop a block under here if that's more comfortable. And just let that left shoulder come down away from the ear. Find some space here. And pressing gently into the back of that left hand will increase the stretch, as we'll bump in the hips slightly over to the left. Ooh, that feels good. And you can keep these right fingers under your shoulders or in front of the face, or you can take them forwards. And just notice how that changes the stretch. Getting a little bit into the right side body there. Just take a couple of breaths here. So we're taking it nice and slow today, but we're working towards this quite strong balance pose of dancer. And I'll give you lots of options as we go. And sliding that right hand back in front of the face if it was forwards, pressing it into the hand, and then just unwind, taking the left arm all the way back up, reach through the fingertips, and let it float back down. And we'll take that on the other side, so reaching the right arm up, the chest turns to the right, and then slide the right hand behind the left wrist, palm faces up, shoulder down away from the ear, and just resting the side of the head down on your mat or on your block. Make sure the neck's in one nice straight line here, in line with the spine. And again, just pressing the back of the hand, the right hand into the floor, will really bring the stretch into the upper back. And then just gently sending those hips towards the right, any amount will bring the stretch there too. You can take your arm overhead one more time. We'll keep your left hand in front of the face. Breathing into all those areas where you feel the stretch. So behind the shoulder blades. And if the left arm is reaching forwards, just bring that back in front of the face, pressing into the hand, and then slide your right arm back out. Extend it one more time, all the way up to the sky, reach, and then float it back down. And then bring the big toes to touch, take the knees out a little bit wider, sink the hips back towards the heels and find your child's pose. If you've got blocks, maybe it'll feel nice here to raise your hands a little bit, just to get a little bit more into the chest and the shoulders than we do in our normal child's pose. So my blocks aren't very high here, but you can pop them on up a little bit higher than mine are, as long as it feels comfortable. So just allow the head to be heavy, hips sinking back, and let the belly be soft. Inhale deeply here. And with all of our yoga practices, we're breathing in and out of the nose, maybe finding that gentle constriction in the back of the throat, our Ujjayi breathing. But our main aim today is to be nice, to be kind, and be compassionate to ourselves, our bodies, our minds. It's all about the love. Just take one more breath here. And then sigh it out if that feels good. And then slowly press your way back up to your tabletop position. If you had your hands on blocks here, go ahead and just move those out of the way for a moment. And we're going to come into a tiger pose. So bring the hands again under the wrists and firm up through the low belly. So we're nice and strong here, collarbones are broad, shoulders away from the ears. I'm just going to pick your left foot up. So the foot is pressing straight up towards the ceiling or the sky. So you feel that engagement in the back of the glutes, the back of the hamstring. And you can stay here, or you can reach the right arm forwards and then maybe reach all the way back and see if there's a foot there. And if you reach your foot easily, then you can hold onto the foot, pressing it gently into the hand. Keep the shoulder rolling back so the shoulder blades glued down into the back there. If you don't reach your foot, no worries, you can just stay here, reaching back with that hand, lifting it up with the foot. And then slowly bring the hand back down to the mat, bring the knee back down, and just shake the hips from side to side. And then we'll try that on the other side. So inhaling your right leg up, so flexing the foot, pressing the heel up towards the sky. A little bit of engagement here. Just be careful you're not rocking onto one side, so draw the low belly in. Keep it nice and strong. And then reaching the left arm forwards, again watching this right shoulder doesn't collapse, so keeping nice strong support, and then taking the left arm back, maybe there is a foot, rolling the left shoulder back, maybe lift that foot a little bit higher, squeezing the glutes, finding space wherever we can, so we don't want to create tension. I want to release it and find some space. So slowly release that hand, release the knee. And again, find a little wiggle side to side. Okay, so from here, we're just going to lower down onto our bellies and find some little rolling cobras. So with the hands under the shoulders, legs reaching out long behind you, press the hips down, and then on an inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together just to slide on up. Exhale, lower back down, tapping the forehead down on the mat. And just take 2 more, just like that. So inhaling up, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and exhaling down. 1 more, inhale up, maybe use the hands a little bit less, really focusing on upper back strength here. Exhale down. And then bring the hands under the shoulders, press all the way up this time, and then send the hips back to our tabletop position. And we're going to set up for our downward facing dog. So spread those hands nice and wide, index fingers facing forwards, press into the tips of the fingers, tuck the toes under, take a big breath in. And then as you exhale, pushing into our cat pose, so we're rounding through the spine, and then lifting the hips all the way up into our downward facing dog. Taking a moment here, so really lift those hips high, maybe swaying them side to side. Bending, straightening the knees one at a time. I'm thinking here about squeezing the armpits towards each other, so really broadening through the upper back. Let the neck be relaxed, the head be heavy. And then on your next inhale, picking up the left foot, you can just take the toes off the ground or maybe extend that leg all the way up. Exhale, draw the knee as close as you can to your nose, squeeze it in, and then place that left foot in between your hands, using the hands to get it there if you wish. And then lower your your right knee down, and just take a moment here. Feeling into the hips, broadening through the collarbones. And then checking your left knee, get my right and left mixed up today. Your left knee is stacked over the ankle, bring the left hand to the top of that thigh, and then bring yourself upright into our Anjaneyasana low lunge. You can stay here, drawing that front hip back, or inhale, sweep the arms up, keep pressing firmly into that front heel, and then exhale, cactus the arms 1 more time, take the elbows out wide, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the chest, maybe even lift the chin if that feels nice. Big breath in here. And an exhale. And on your next inhale, reach the arms all the way up and bring the hands down, framing the foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee and wiggle that foot around, step all the way back to your downward facing dog. And we're just going to take that on the other side right away. So lifting that right foot up any amount. Exhale, bringing the knee to the nose and step the right foot in between the hands. Lowering the left knee down. Pause in here, so coming up onto the fingertips, or maybe placing blocks under the hands here. Just finding some space in the hips. And then bringing that right knee over the right ankle, right hand to the top of the thigh, pressing your way up. Drawing the front hip back, back it forwards, nice and strong through the core. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And then exhale, cactus. Again, lift the chest, take an extra breath or two here. Really feel that rib cage expand. Spread the fingers wide, feel the energy going all the way to the fingertips. And on your next inhale, reach the fingertips up to the sky and then float the hands down to frame out the foot and step back, downward facing dog. Now you can stay here for a few breaths or lower down into your child's pose and just reset. And just one more breath here. And then on your next inhale, bringing that right foot forwards again. So if you're in your downward dog, you can take the right leg up high. Exhale, squeeze the belly button in, knee to nose. And step the left foot in between the hands. Lowering down that back knee one more time. And then from here, we are going to send the hips back. Find a little hamstring stretch. And then re-bending that front knee. Tucking the toes under, so the back toes are under. Lifting the back knee and just coming onto the fingertips here. So again, your front knee stacked over that ankle. Find your nice support before we come on up to stand. So when you're ready, press firmly into the feet and then lifting your way up. So find your balance here. If you feel a little bit wobbly, just take your stance a little bit wider. Draw the low belly in. Keep a bend in the back knee if that feels good, but really engage the back leg, so we're still pressing the back heel towards the back of the mat. And then inhale, sweep the arms up. And one more time, exhale, cactus the arms, lift through the chest. Take another breath here. And inhale, reach for the sky. And then we're going to open out to the side of our mat. So finding our goddess pose here, take the toes out to a diagonal. And first of all, reach up into star so the arms come out. Spread yourself nice and wide. And then exhale, lower down, bring the hands to heart center. And keeping the knees bent, bring the hands to the inside of the thighs. Inhale, extend the spine, find some length. And then exhale, dip the left shoulder in. And just take a couple of breaths here. Feel that nice twist into the upper back. And just let the gaze go wherever feels comfortable for the neck. And then coming back through center and take it to the other side. So right shoulder dips in. And just gently pressing those thighs out. And then inhaling back through center, press firmly into the feet. And then turn the toes so that the outside of the foot is parallel with the edge of the mat. And from here, we're going to take the hands behind us. If you prefer, you can just keep your hands on the hips here. So either hands on hips or hands interlaced behind the back. We're going to broaden through the collarbones, slide the shoulder blades down, take a big breath in. And then press firmly into the feet, keep the quads engaged as we start to fold forwards. Let the chin dip in here. You can bend the knees here if that's more comfortable. So we don't want to overstretch our hamstrings.
And then either keeping the hands on the base of the spine there, or starting to press the hands up and away from the body. And just let the head be heavy, taking a few breaths here. Squeezing the shoulder blades down the back. And then on an exhale, just gently release the hands and lower them all the way down to the ground. Inhale, extend the spine, so we're just going to lengthen the spine. Crown of the head comes forwards, and then exhale, fold all the way down. Just keep the hands on the floor this time. And if the hands don't reach the floor again, they can come to a block. Just keep the fingertips on the floor. But if you can reach the floor, have the hands about shoulder width apart and just draw those elbows towards each other and back behind you. And from here, we're just going to walk our hands back to the front of the mat, so we're coming back to our low lunge position. Nice. And when you're in your low lunge, you can take your front foot and walk it a little bit further out to the side, so towards the pinky toe side of the mat. Coming into our lizard lunge, lizard pose. You can keep your back knee lifted here if you want to work a little bit more into the legs. Or you can lower the back knee and just hang out like a little bit more of a lazy lizard. So wherever you are, you might want to pick up the toes and just turn that foot until you find a place that feels good in your hips. So everyone's hip socket and femur thigh bone is slightly different. So just finding the place that feels like a nice stretch for you. Maybe even finding a bit of movement like I am here as well. And if you're really open through the hips, you can come down onto the palms, you could even come down to the elbows, or you can pop some blocks into the hands here. And then staying where we are with the front leg, option here to bend that back knee and draw the right foot in towards the hip. So engage in the hamstrings here, and you can stay here. Or if you want to go a little bit further, reaching that right arm forwards. And if you've got space, taking that arm all the way behind you, maybe finding the foot. And again, don't force it. So we're just working to that comfortable edge. And then slowly release that foot back down, bringing the hand back down to the mat. And we're going to walk the left foot all the way across to the other side of the mat, so it's coming to the right side of the mat. Setting up for our pigeon pose. So lowering the shin down, so your left foot is near your right hip. And the left thigh is either straight ahead or turned slightly out away from the centre of the body. And just settling in here, finding the place again that feels right for your hips. You might find that that left hip is lifted, in which case pop your blocks or a cushion underneath the left hip. It feels good. And if this doesn't feel right on your hips, which it doesn't for some people, it can also be a little bit painful on the knees if your knees are a bit delicate. You could always take a reclined figure of four pose instead. And just take a breath here. There should be no twinging, no pain in the knees at all. And again, if you want to work those hamstrings, getting ready for our dancer pose, just bending that back leg, so your right leg, squeezing in, using the strength of the hamstrings, either staying here or maybe reaching that right arm again all the way up and over, and maybe it finds a foot. So if you're here with me, then just roll that right shoulder back, find space. So again, we don't want to be creating tension. You want to open up the body and let it relax. And if this doesn't feel relaxing, then don't do it. And then slowly releasing that foot, bringing the hand back down. And then pressing both hands firmly into the mat so you can tuck your back toes under, lift the back knee, and then pick up your left knee and come back to our downward facing dog. Or you could take a child's pose here, If you're feeling very energetic today, you could even take a flow, coming forwards into plank, lowering down, into a cobra, and then back to your downward facing dog. And then we'll get ready to do those few poses on the right side. So inhaling the right leg up. Exhale, bring the knee to the nose. And step it in between the hands. And again, find your strong low lunge here. Pressing that back heel back. Stacking your right knee over the right ankle. And then firm up your stance, coming onto the fingertips. When you're ready, inhaling all the way up to our high lunge, crescent lunge. If you're a little wobbly, take your front foot just a little bit further towards the pinky toe side of your mat. And draw the low belly in. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, cactus the arms. Lifting the chest here, take an extra breath. Keep pressing that back heel back. Strong through both legs. And then inhale, both arms all the way up. And we're going to open out to the side one more time. So I'm going to stay facing this way. We're not going to be here quite as long as time. We're coming straight down. So bring the feet so they're parallel to the outside edge of the mat. Find some length first as you inhale. And then lowering down with the hands on the hips this time. Bringing the hands down to the mat or keeping them on the hips. But just letting the head be heavy and the spine be long. And inhale, halfway lift, find a little bit of length. And then exhale, turning towards the front of your mat. So you're framing out your right foot. And then lowering your back knee down. Taking your right foot over towards the pinky toe side of your mat and bringing the hands to the inside. So again here, you can keep that back leg lifted if you want to, so a bit of a stronger position here in our lizard pose. Or you can lower the knee, find a little bit of softness, maybe a little bit of movement into the hips. You can even bring that right hand to the thigh and just gently roll it out. So being mindful of the knees here, just going wherever feels good to you today. And then coming back through centre, we're going to walk the foot all the way across and setting up for our pigeon pose, our half pigeon. So bringing your right foot over to the left side of your mat. And again, your thigh wants to be straight ahead or slightly out, just finding that place where it feels like a comfortable stretch for your hip and there's no pain in the knee. Got a little crow come to say hello to me here. Oh, we didn't do our hamstring curl on the other side, but that's okay, in our lizard pose. But we can do it here. So if you want to go that little bit extra, bend in that back leg, squeeze in the hamstrings, and then reaching the left arm forwards, taking it overhead. And again, find space first, so relax that shoulder down, and then maybe you find the foot there. Keep squeezing the hamstring in, so make it fairly active here. So I'm not pulling this leg in with the arm, the hand's just pretty much resting there. And then slowly releasing back down. And then pressing into both hands, lifting the back knee, lifting the front knee. And then if you're desperate to take that lizard pose stretch on the other side, then you can do that now. So coming back to our lizard, finding our little stretch for the hamstrings. Or if you want to just go to child's pose, you can do that too. So here's the little hamstring curl if you want it. So squeezing that foot in, again keeping it active. Taking a breath. And then slowly releasing. And then wherever you are, we're all going to meet back in our downward facing dog or our child's pose. Again, you can take a flow here if you want to, or you can just hang out down here for a few breaths. So sinking the hips back if you're in a child's pose. And just bringing that awareness back to the heart space one more time. One more breath here. And then slowly press your way up. So we come in through a tabletop, tucking the toes, lifting the hips to a downward facing dog. And then walk the feet forwards this time. And come into a forward fold. And just allow the knees to bend and the chest to rest down on the thighs. The spine can be nice and long and relaxed. Take a couple of breaths here. Again, maybe find some movement. My body seems to want a little bit of movement today, but sometimes we feel that stillness is what's needed. So just working intuitively with what you feel you need. And then press firmly into both feet. We're going to keep the chin tucked in and the arms hanging heavy as we roll up, one vertebrae at a time. And then when you arrive in your mountain pose, bring the feet underneath the hips, spread the toes nice and wide, draw up through the quads, roll the shoulders back, keep those low ribs drawn in so we're not sticking the chest out here. And then from here, we're going to set up for our dancer pose. So this is what we've been leading up to. So if you've got a wall nearby, then I would recommend or at least having it handy in case you need it. So we're going to peel up the right heel, and then bring that right heel towards the right glute and hold onto it with the right hand. So keep the left leg nice and strong, so pressing down into the foot and reaching tall through the crown of the head. So this is stage one. We can stay here. This is a lovely place to be. Hands can be on the left hand can be on the hip, or you can take the left arm out in front of you with the thumb facing up towards the sky. If you want to go a little bit further, engage the hamstrings just like before, and then see if you can start to press the foot into the hand and notice how the shoulder starts to come back, so the right shoulder. And that will cause a little bit of a back bend, just like we've been doing through our practice. And then maybe you can start to lean forwards, gazing over your left thumb. So just go into that place that feels good. Working with balance, working with the back bend, keeping the legs strong. And then when you're ready, inhaling back up. And then slowly releasing that leg back down to our mountain pose. Shake it out if you want to. And then we'll take it on the other side. So again, find your mountain pose first. Draw the low belly in. And peel the left heel off the ground, making sure this right hip doesn't sink out to the side. And then picking up your left foot with the left hand. Keep the knees together. Might not have said that on the other side, but we want the knees to stay in pretty much in line with the hips all the way through this pose. So roll that left shoulder back. Find the shoulder blade on the back. And either keeping the hand on the hip, we can stay here, just working on balance in this pose. Or take the right arm forward with the thumb facing the ceiling or the sky. And then if you want to go a little bit further, squeezing those hamstrings, squeezing the glutes, letting the left leg lift, pressing the foot into the hand, and then maybe coming forwards, finding that sturdy gaze, and a little bit of a back bend. And then inhaling back through center, slowly releasing the leg back down with control. And coming back to our mountain pose. Nice. So inhale, sweep the arms up, letting go of whatever may have just happened. And then coming down to fold. And find a halfway lift, slide the hands up the shins. Exhale, plant them back down and then step back to your plank pose. And lower all the way down to the ground. You could bring the knees down or lower in one straight line. And we're just going to come into a Sphinx pose here. So this is our last big back bend of our practice. So bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders and then send those legs back. So picking the legs up, lengthen them out of the low back. And just bring the elbows to wherever's comfortable. So they might want to go further forwards towards the front of your mat. But keeping the work, the sensation here in the upper back, not in the low back. So collarbones are broad. Breathe in steadily into the belly. And just gaze down at the mat. We'll close the eyes here. Maybe coming back to our intention here, our affirmation. I am loved and I am loving. And developing this sense of self-compassion. This non-judgmental view of ourselves. Last breath here. And then making a little pillow with the hands and the elbows out wide and lower the forehead down. And just pause here for a moment, let the back settle. Feel the belly rising against the floor. And then when you're ready, just bring the hands under the shoulders, press your way up. And coming through your tabletop, just bring the knees towards the wrists and then sitting down on the heels, swinging the legs out to the side. We're just going to take a forward fold to counter all of those back bends and heart openers that we've just been doing. So we're going to bring the legs out in front, and the feet don't need to be together here, they can be slightly apart. And sit nice and tall. You can sit on a block here as well if that feels better and allows you to reach out of the low back a little bit more. And take a big breath in, sweep the arms up, reach even further out of the sides of the waist. And as you exhale, keep all that length in the spine and just float the hands down to wherever they reach. And dipping the chin in and then maybe walking the hands forwards and rounding through the spine. And the knees can totally be bent here. So we want this stretch to be even through the back of the legs and the spine. Definitely don't want to feel any forcing into the hamstrings. So remember, self-compassion, self-love means not punishing our bodies, but listening to what they need. And then slowly walking the hands back towards the hips as you bring the shoulders above the hips. And we're just going to come down onto our backs. So rolling down, just bringing the knees in a little bit closer so the feet are towards the hips. And we're going to take a twist before we come into our Shavasana. So let the knees come out to one side. Taking any version of twist that you like. So my feet here are about hip distance. I'm just letting the knees rock to one side. But you can always bring the knees in a little bit closer and keep them together. Just whatever feels good for you. Either cactus in the arms for yet more chest opening, or spreading them out long like a T. And then drawing the belly button in, taking the knees over to the other side. Again, choosing that arm position that feels good. You can gaze in the opposite direction to the knees or just up towards the ceiling. or the bright blue sky and very bright sun. And then draw the belly button in as you bring the knees back to center one more time. And then just bring the knees in, so one at a time, right knee to right hand, left knee to left hand. Give yourself a little squeeze here, a little hug. Maybe even draw the chin towards the chest. And take a big breath in. I am loved and I am loving. And exhale, release the knees one at a time. Send them out long on your mat. And find your Shavasana. So this is the ultimate act of self-care, self-love. Taking this moment to just be. So take a big breath in. Pause at the top, find a little smile, and exhale, sigh it out. And just take a few moments here. Maybe keeping the hands on the body, so one hand on the belly, one hand on that heart center. A loving touch as we rest for a few moments in silence. And just bringing the attention back to the breath. If the hands are on the body, feeling the sensation of the breath. Feeling the belly rise with the inhale, fall with the exhale. And then thanking yourself for this moment, all these moments that you've given yourself to look after your mind, your body. And when you're ready, just bending the knees one at a time, rolling onto one side. And then slowly pressing your way up to a seat. And then reaching tall through the crown of the head, rolling the shoulders back. Bringing the hands to heart center. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're feeling relaxed and full of self-love. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I'll see you next time on the mat.